You know why?
Big Kahuna.
Big Kahuna.
Okay, you guys are live on Facebook.
We're live on the Facebook. Is it showtime?
He's the one that puts all those hats on it.
Yeah, whenever he picks something, he does.
All right, we got the Big Kahuna and Ronnie Martin on Instagram.
That picture is right there. Now that's what our boy needs to be doing.
Big
That's my
Kahuna says
friend.
aloha
Who does?
on the Instagram.
Who? Big Kahuna right here, baby. Can't do without you. Weatherman, it's showtime. Put your stuff down. Let's get ready. Kathleen,
We ready?
Kathleen, you've done a phenomenal job on getting this set ready as always. Brittany Renee is on here, Blair Braswell. My girlfriend is at home. I'm sorry, she is building our home. Not our house, she's building her home. She's getting me stuff, her stuff. We are we're turning that place into our home. So
I
thank you.
got to get on here.
Well, what man? We are late. You got to get on our sponsors party.
It's 1 o'clock.
David Ross has joined. Scott Abernathy, Reliant Property Manager. Thank you so much, friend. We're having a few problems with our signs.
Katrina.
It won't come on.
It's on. The signs are on Instagram and YouTube.
Okay, Facebook they're not, but hey, we'll give a shout out to our people.
Are we on live Facebook?
You guys are live.
Katrina, can you know where you get me
She
live?
said hers couldn't come on.
You couldn't come
Mine's
on
not coming on either.
Damn.
I'll try for you.
Okay.
Katrina
So
says,
people-
"Hey everyone."
Okay, so hey, back to me, guys, the host of the show, the greatest guy in all of social media, this guy,
Oh, hey.
aka the Weatherman. So we're gonna give a few shout outs. I want to try to keep it short and brief because we got one we want to talk about today. But first, we want to go with Scott Abernathy, one of the smartest guys we know. Has a new name, PMI Professionals Property Management Incorporated. So guys, he's looking to build his portfolio. If you want the best of the business, give Scott Abernathy a call. Also, my guy, I sported his hat last week. A guy named Charles Bain with Bug Solutions. One of the most honest guys. I think a lot of him. He is our preferred guy. Also, we want to go with our guy, none other than our breakfast buddy, the Trout Magnet, who hails from Prim Springs. Roy Frazier with Farm Bureau. And then we can't do enough without the big guy, John Jones, who continues to let us be creative and go and think outside the box. And this week, I want to think about our girl. Our girl. We're going to call her the Lion. Belinda Arrington. She would just attack and take control of the jungle. So, Belinda, we want to thank you so much. But hey, if y'all ever watch Lee Corso this week, and if you bring me something, this week, our guy we're spotlighting is none other, Flatfield himself, the big kahuna with Aloha Heating and Air. Guys, he did work for me. I highly recommend him. Look for him out there on social media. The guy is not only out there working, he's out there building a brand. Fantastic guy. I challenge you to give him a shot. But look at here. Flat bill is my style. Do I do it at 1 o'clock? 12 o'clock? I'm going to leave it at 12 o'clock today. But Big Kahuna, I'm supporting you today, baby. So, hey, there we go.
Just call
Can you
him.
top that, big guy?
Weatherman, you out of breath.
Can you top that, big guy?
You said a lot without taking a breath right there. Hey, I don't know, is our show not working? It looks like there's more people than what it's saying.
Yeah,
Can everybody open it up? Can you open it up, Katrina? It will not allow you to open it up.
Man, I'm looking good in this hat and everything.
God, nobody can see you. Hey, today is Katrina's 4-year anniversary.
Oh,
Over here,
yeah.
hey, we need that applause. We need that applause. We need that. So,
Tommy gets the applause for hanging in there that long.
thank you very much. Hey, we appreciate the likes. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate them shares. If you share this stream, me and Kathleen, we go into a little hat. We pull out the winner and you get a $25 gift card to the Alley on Main. So all you got to do to get your gift card is share the stream. What do you got going on, Stevie Zavisa?
Hey, and if we
Just
like
trying to get on there.
It won't let you get
It
on?
says, can I play video again?
Man, I don't know what's going on with our video. It's really becoming annoying. I don't know if it's a Facebook problem, Apple problem. I don't know what this is, but we need to get this fixed. So today, it's Wednesday. It's 1 o'clock. That means we bring you Real Estate 101 no matter what.
But you're live, right? On Real Estate 101?
I'm live, but I'm
So
just
they had to come back. We may not have as many comments.
Well,
so.
we probably won't have as many comments because people are going to have to come back and watch it. But hey, you need to watch this. If you ever want to build on a vacant lot, a piece of property out in the county, you need to watch this show.
Piece of cake, ain't it?
Man, it is so challenging. I made a comment, and Anthony Milligan, he commented on it about all you got to do is have money and start building. Man, I wish it was that easy. Damn, I wish it was that easy, because it has been a...
Can I ask you a personal question?
Anytime.
Do I look good in this hat?
You look great today, Weatherman. You look great. So today I'm actually going to interview AKA the Weatherman, because the Weatherman, he kind of special. I would say him and his builder, they specialize in doing this. They don't go around in a subdivision and buy a lot and build a house. They have developed a little niche where they may find, how big of the lots are you finding out there?
The 5 acre tracts, and Rob Todd, to give other guys credit, we're not the only one, but Rob Todd he does it. He's been doing it for a long time. He does it. So there's a couple people out there, but we like that 5 acres because you don't have to go through planning. If you have under 5 acres, you have to take it through planning, unless it's been through planning. Then if it's been through planning, guess what that means? Them lot prices a lot higher.
Well, so tell everybody, I don't think they understand. I never did understand how hard it is to go through planning. So when you say that, it sounds so simple, but man, it is not easy to go do it.
So let's take everybody now and say, this is the question that we get all the time. Hey, find us a 15 acre tract, we'll subdivide it up, and we'll build 5 or 6, 7, 8, 10 houses on it. Yeah, that's like going out there and grabbing a unicorn and bringing that bad boy back in here. The problem is, in the county, you have to have soil sites, and you have to have primary and alternate soil sites, and it has to perk for certain bedrooms. If you don't want to go in front of the county board, and you don't want to go in front of the planning board, 5 acres is the only zoning that you don't have to do that. You can literally...
hold on. So we can can we bust something from 20 acres to 5?
Yep.
And you don't have to go through all that?
Don't have to go through. You just got to get it surveyed and take it up there. Okay. But you do have to have recorded soil on each site to be able to build on it to get the building permits.
Okay.
And so a lot of people, what they want to buy a piece of land for $115,000 and put 5 tracts on and sell them for $60,000 and make $300,000-400,000. It doesn't work that way.
Did you guys get that up and running, or is it still not?
Yes, we're also on Instagram. If you have Instagram at GoodTimeTommy or AKA the Weatherman.
Get over there and watch, or on YouTube.
On YouTube, GoodTimeTommy.
So let me ask you this, Weatherman.
Okay.
Tell us how long these steps could take to go through. Because I bought 2 lots. I bought 2 lots using the Weatherman, and every damn one of them has been
They've not been fun, have
they haven't.
But let's be honest.
But I didn't know what to expect.
Never done it before.
Never had done it.
And so it's very typical, it's very normal. So when you buy a raw piece of land, just imagine yourself, you're out in the country on a raw piece of land. What are 2 things you must have, really 3 things you must have to live there?
Water,
electric, and a place to poo-poo. You got to have those 3 places, or they're not going to let you build a house. You know, so, and I'm not saying it has to be city water. You can still get a loan with well water, but you have to have these types of things. Well, guess what happens also on 5 acre tracts?
Tell us whether
driveways are longer. You hit more rock. Your excavating cost to bring your water line, your electric lines come in. Also, you have to go through more steps as far as getting people to come out to do the soil work, to make sure the surveys, the building permits, and all those things. So it's very intricate, but guess what? It's a niche, and it's something that everybody wants. Everybody is not a neighborhood type of person. Everyone would love to have a little bit of land to let your kids go out and play, but guess what? There's a reason why they're not out there. And what most people are seeing now is the ones that are doing the work, getting the water in place, getting the electric in place, getting the soil in place, getting it surveyed, those lots are now well over $100,000.
So I was going to ask you, people are usually comparing price, so looking at what a lot would cost in Winthrop Hall versus what a lot would cost out in the county. Well, if the lot is $75,000 or $80,000 in Winthrop Hall, and the lot in the county is $65,000, that doesn't necessarily mean that the lot in the county is cheaper once it's all said and
It's
done.
probably, the county lot's probably $30,000 more at the end
Now,
of the day.
how? Tell us how.
Because in the city, when you dig a water line or electric line to the house, it's probably no more than it's a 40-foot setback, you're 45 foot off the road. So you have a 40-foot water line dig, you have a 40-foot electrical line dig, not to mention they developed this lot, brought dirt in, and so the dig is actually pretty good in most of the neighborhoods. Let's say you get out here in the middle of Las Casas to where you don't know if you're going to hit rock, you don't know what you're going to hit. And then next thing you know, your electric line goes from, nobody wants a house on 5 acres 40 feet off the street. They want it 200 feet off the street to have some privacy. So next thing you know, that 200, now you got 200 foot of digging, you got 200 foot of water line digging. Well, guess how much a rock camera costs today?
Tell me.
About $2,000.
Is it charged by the hour? Or
Usually it's charged by the day. They'll
By
come
the
out
day.
there and charge you by the day.
I've had 3 charge me by the foot.
And some charge you by the foot. If you got to have a rock saw, which is like these diamond cutting saws, that means you're in a glade rock that won't bust. So let me explain. A rock hammer will, and I'm not an excavator, so if I'm a little wrong, and Bobo on here, my brother-in-law's on here, please chime in. A rock hammer will bust up a bluff rock. So you can hit it and it'll bust in 50 pieces. A solid glade rock is what limestone was what we're full of in Rutherford County. You can beat on that thing for hours on hours and have a handful of dust. So then you have to get a saw and you have to saw out a trench. And those things are what is very, very expensive. And those are costs you just don't know about until, guess what?
the bill comes in?
Start digging.
And so often we want to know before we get into something, what's this going to cost?
And there's no way to tell. There's no way.
There is no. Hey, everybody that's watching, I only see 3 shares. We need more shares. Now, if you've shared it one time, over here, damn, I've got so many cameras looking at me. If you've shared one time, do not share again. Only share
The
once.
greatest thing that nobody ever thinks about is this.
Did you interrupt me?
I did. Hey, says my shovel.
Oh, okay.
What nobody understands is this. Is just because you have a 5-acre tract, if there's not a power pole on your property, it does not mean you have power on your property. You have what they call an easement, and we learned about
We're
that.
dealing with that right now.
Firsthand.
So let me tell the story, okay? Because the weatherman found me this lot. I bought this lot. It's on 6 acres. It's in a great location. I knew even paying $100,000 for this lot, it would be no problem to build a house, sell it, and make a profit. Well, things I didn't think about were electrical. Okay, so this lot is 6 acres. There's other homes that have been developed right beside it. They live there. I think there's probably 5 or 6 homes out there. Hey, what happened? Are we overheating over there? So I assumed it would be no problem. I didn't even think about electrical. So we're going out there, and then we've got to find out how we're going to get electrical. What are we going to do, weatherman?
We go next door.
So weatherman had to go knock on door after door after door to find out if it would be okay if this one person would let me borrow some electricity.
And it's not the electricity, it's just the fact of if the pole is on your property, it's still your property. You have to sign off on an easement. Even though the electric department has rights to come in and work on it, they don't have rights to just pull off of it if it's owned by somebody else. And so you have to have an easement signed by and most times you don't run into any difficult situations unless there's some bad blood between the people selling the property.
So what made the most sense whenever we went to the electric department is the city, there's an easement that goes behind the property for the sewer department, but on the other side of that little road there was a pole that had power.
65 feet away.
65 feet away would have been so simple to go from that side of the road over that little easement onto my property and supply the power. So we go up there to the planning,
Go to the big boys at the city.
okay, and they have so much power, they can tell you what they're going to do. So they said anytime you disturb a roadway where you're going above, it would have to go through the planning commission. So to go through the planning commission, I was going to have to get a lot of data, a lot of signatures,
Engineers involved.
engineers involved. Was there any way they could have denied my request?
Anything can be denied. Yes, anything can be denied.
But how long? I think it was going to take about 6 weeks to do this.
Yeah, because you got to. In order to get in front of the city council, you have to do it on a certain day to be on the next meeting. If you miss that, you got to wait to the next meeting. Just like you did, they did tell us at the city up there at the engineer department that it shouldn't be an issue whatsoever. Just they have precaution. It's a state law is what they said, that you have to do that. So you can imagine, we're 10 miles out in the county, and the city of Murfreesboro owns a street that's about 80 foot wide that goes back to this little station in the back. And so we had to have the city to sign off on it.
So we went ahead and we shot down the idea of wanting to go through the planning commission because it was going to take so long. The next option would be go to a neighbor. We could have gone and dug up a neighbor's yard, but I don't think they would let us do that. So Stephen went and he got he did, I don't want to say convinced a gentleman. You just nicely asked him with some muscle.
If you're from the country, and I live out there, and it's just genuality. Everybody really, if you live, that's the great thing about living on acreage tracts, is people are different. I'm not saying anything about anybody in the city, but they don't mind helping. You can walk over there and get some sugar, you can walk over there and get some eggs. I mean, it's just that type of living. So it wasn't even up for debate. He was like, his first thing was absolutely, where you want me to sign? It wasn't even a fight. It was just the fact of, I'd love to help you.
But I felt uncomfortable because I was at the mercy of this guy that lived across the street.
And I wasn't worried.
Well, I was worried. But so to make a long story short, on the electrical, we did get that easement, but we had to go through all these steps. It does slow things down. So Danielle made it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, hey, that was it. That what if you got to bore the road for the electrical or the water? What if it's on the opposite side, and you buy a piece of property and you think, hey, I'm thinking this is what everybody does. They buy a piece of property, they're thinking this. I got water right here, I got electric right here, I'm gonna put my house right here, and boom, I'm gonna build a house and make a bunch of money. They don't always happen, does it?
No. So one of the first lot the weatherman got me on was in a subdivision that had 8 acres. It was tracked off into 2 4-acre tracts, and houses were all around this, all around it. My electrician goes out there. He's like, man, you ain't got any power. How are you going to get electrical? So we go out there. I didn't see it. Stephen called an engineer. He came out there. The electric was on the other side of the road, and this is an underground
utilities.
So to do this, electric was going to have to be brought from underneath the road.
Right.
So these are 2 things I did not think about. Never crossed my mind. I just thought, hey, this is the only expense I've got. So I'm going to move along quickly with me. I got another question that people probably don't think about. Drainage.
Absolutely.
When you go into a Harvest Woods, which John Jones is the developer, it's his responsibility as the developer to take care of all the drainage.
Yeah, they got what they call Bill Huston and engineers that pretty much lay it all out, that the water falls this way in these ditches and go to this place.
Out there on these lots that we're buying in the county, how does that work, weatherman?
Everything is perfectly flat, slopes off to the front ditch.
I love a good fairy tale.
You have to have first of all, you have to get the road commission out there to check your ditch, to find out what kind of culvert you need, to make sure that this neighbor's water is not stopped by your small culvert. So there's a road commission that has to come out.
Does that cost you money?
No,
Cost you time?
Just time, cost you time. And they're pretty quick. They're pretty quick.
Okay.
And so then a lot of other times is you have to divert the water to that way. You can't divert the water off on your neighbors. So that's a yard and grade work. But that's also in a neighborhood. You have those same scenarios. If y'all are building a house in Harvest Wood and you slope the yard to the next door neighbor, y'all have a problem. So you actually have to slope the yard back to your property to where it falls off somewhere and then eases up. Or what they call get the CO, they won't give you a CO.
Okay. But there is probably a lot more cost in a preparation for a county lot than a city.
Yeah, because half of them are set like this, like this, like this.
So you're estimating that it's up to $30,000 more to build on a county lot than to buy one outright in the city.
Let's just say, let's look at it this way. If you build a regular house and you got 5 loads of gravel,
Yep.
and it's 45 feet of driveway, gravel's almost $500 a load. That's $2,500. Now think of quadrupling that. That's what it costs just to get your gravel in, just for a gravel driveway. And then you got a turnaround you got to take care of. Then you got all these porches, and so there's liable to be $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 in extra expense on gravel just because you're off the road.
So you also mentioned septic.
Septic.
And you know what you've told me in the past about very seldom do you get a four bedroom perk site.
Very, very seldom.
Why is that?
Because our dirt in Rutherford County is not very good.
So even if it's 25 acres, it's hard to have a 4 bedroom.
You could have 200-acre farm and have one soil site on it.
It's just because the
rock and the clay.
How exactly do they determine if it's a 3, 2, 4 bedroom?
Don't hate me, soil scientists, because I don't mean to.
Don't get us in trouble with it, man.
So what a soil scientist used to do, they used to dig these holes, and they would pour water in these holes. And if they dropped so many inches in so many hours, then that usually meant the water would disperse.
Mm-hmm.
Now they dig it, they turn around, and they look at the style of dirt it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you was to bring in 500 loads of field dirt, they'll know that that dirt doesn't match what goes there, because they have this big thing that's like Google Earth that can look down and tell you exactly what kind of land you're sitting on. They'll tell you if it's rocky, they'll tell you, and they got grades for it. And it's free, you can look it up. You can Google, how do I find out what kind of soil I have where I live? Now, if you've got good topsoil and good dirt, then chances are you're going to get a good soil site. And there are places in Rutherford County we do have that. But you know where the most places we don't have it?
No clue with it, man.
Is around rivers and creeks and all the pretty places that you want to live, because there's a lot of rock and limestone and bluffs. And so everybody wants to live around a creek or a river, and those are your most expensive lots, and those are the ones you have the most trouble with.
Okay, weatherman, so we've made this show all about your knowledge today. Do this.
No, you made it about
I made all, but well, I'm going through this. I've experienced a lot of stress, a lot of chaos, a lot of inconvenience of finding this perfect lot, and then all the troubles that we're going through on there. It's been, I don't want to say miserable, but it's been a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, which it's kind of hurt the experience of it, which is a learning process, by the way. So if you were going to buy a lot and build a house like you've done, you live in the county, tell the viewers, all 40,000 of them out there, what makes a good, what are things you need to know? How do you know if it's a good building site? Give them the information they need to know.
Anytime you write a contract up on a land, you need to make sure that it has a recorded soil site, which is good for just a matter of
That's
3
something
years.
we should have started with, weatherman. How do you need to protect yourself before you even buy one of these things?
Make sure you have a recorded soil site. And I want to say that when you do those, they're good, and I could be wrong, but I think they're good for about 3 years, which means you can go have a soil site recorded, and you have 3 years to put a septic tank in.
Now, what is a soil site?
The soil site is how many bedrooms you're per kid allowed to have. So here's the big craziest thing about soil sites. So if you don't know about the county, let's just say you're approved for a 3-bedroom house. How many bathrooms do you think you could have in that
47.
house? 47, absolutely right. Has nothing to do with the bathrooms, it's strictly about the bedrooms. Because they count occupancy and not bathrooms. And so you need a recorded soil site, but you also need to make sure the recorded soil site is within a relatively quick time, or go ahead and have your septic tank put in to where it's already installed.
Okay, I believe the more information we know, the better we can create the experience. So I want to ask you this. How long does it take to get a soil scientist to come out there and look at
6 to 8 weeks.
So that right there, if you didn't anticipate that, you would be so angry, so pissed off if you didn't know what you were getting into. So you need to understand, can you make an offer right now and say, before I buy this, I need to get all this stuff lined up?
You can, but if it's cheap, you're not going to get it.
Why not?
Because if they're going to do all that work, they'll raise the price. So let's just say we find 5 acres in Rockville.
Okay.
And they say, listen, no site work's been done, selling as is, 5 acres, $32,500. What does everybody think? I found a 5-acre tract for $32,000, write it up.
Mm-hmm.
So now I go in there and say, hey, I'll pay for the soil test, and if you'll give me 6 weeks for a contingency, I'll give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that guy's gonna think, well, shoot, if I'm gonna wait 6 weeks, I'll pay $500. If I get a 4-bedroom, that lot went from $32,000 to $64,000.
So part of his initial pricing is he is not fully certain of what he has.
He don't even
there.
want food with it.
He doesn't. So he's putting a price out there. Hey, this is what I'm offering if you want it. But he is not going to run the risk of having that done.
Right.
He would just be losing money. So keep going.
It's almost like buying
good stuff with a man.
It's almost like buying a HUD house.
Danielle said you can also request the soil scientist and TDEC to approve an alternate or an engineered septic, and that way you can get a larger number of.
You can, and I've talked to some guys. Thanks to our good friend Tony Woodall out of North Carolina. That we've got a new system they started implementing in Rutherford County called a drip system. And from what I know about a drip system, it's almost like this long pipe that runs farther out and just drips along it. But just to give you an idea, a traditional septic tank to have installed is anywhere from $500 to $7,500. Those traditional
what?
$1,000
$5,000?
to $7,500. Those traditionals are about 20, not counting the work that goes into it. And so a lot of people can say, well, you can have that traditional type, but guess what? You may have just had another 15 or 20 grand on top of your bill. Now, let's say we got $70,000 in our bill. We've got another, our lot. We got another $30,000 in our cost to get power and stuff in driveway. Then we got another $20,000 in our septic, and then we want to build a 2,500 square foot house and be at $399.9. Is it gonna work?
I don't know.
No, because we got $150,000 in freaking land to build it. So most time when you're building these things, you either building it you're not building it for appraisal, you're building it for you and peace of mind and to be away. And that's why when builders buy these houses, we build bigger houses to raise the value to where you can have more money in there, a cushion, is what we like to call it.
So what are the biggest what is the biggest risk a potential homeowner could have? Unforeseen cost, or they didn't know this, they were unaware of this. What do you think the biggest risk they could have?
The number one biggest risk is somebody did development 8 or 9 years ago and did soil work on the development. And it says that this house perks for a 4-bedroom site. Well, guess who has to go out to make sure that that's right?
The new soil scientist.
The environmental department, whoever you go, and they could come back and say, no, we're sorry, that was old regulations, that doesn't work anymore. It doesn't pass, it doesn't perk. Now, I'm not saying that it can happen.
Well, these are things we need to know, I think. I mean, anytime you buy this, you need to know, the more you know, the better chances you have of not having a huge mistake.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts about building on acreage tracts, but there's very, very limited houses. And I challenge all the real estate people. Look right now.
Challenge.
Look right now.
For you, Steve, is you.
Look right now at anything at 2,000 square feet and above, built in the last 5 years at a minimum of 5 acres, and just look at the pricing points on it.
I'll say, hey, this is something I didn't take into account, but I think you and Joey were telling me Roy Frazier said also need to make sure it's not in a flood zone. Which
Roy's a great insurance guy. Where do most people want to live when they live in the country? What do they want to live by?
a river.
Creek, river, something settling,
Flood zone.
which is in part of a flood zone. Make sure it's not in a floodway and a major flood. There's different types of flood zones. Even when we got hit in 2010, dry creeks now made that land around a dry creek in like a AE or low density flood, whatever it is, low. So chances are some of your most prettiest lots are in floodplains.
Okay, so here's something I didn't think about was the lot clearing. You know, there's a lot of trees on there. So our guy goes out there and he sends us $4,000 bill, and I'm like, I didn't even think about that. You know, I thought I'm paying $100,000 for this lot. We're going to do this, but then we get that, maybe it's $4,700. Like you said, the driveway is 200 feet. The house has got to be 200 feet off the road. Those are things that you do. I mean, these costs with concrete, gravel, the underground utilities, it really starts to multiply. I mean, just not thinking about something like this could go from $0 to now this was $13,000. So you got to be extremely careful, and you definitely need to make sure you've got somebody that can help navigate you through this process. Anything else you'd like to add with it, man?
It's, most people don't realize, in the county, 5-acre build, most of your builds in neighborhoods, I'm gonna give a prop out to WR and OSouth. WR can build a house when he's ready in 90 days. OSouth, when they're ready, 4 months. Even Tim Dutton and Joey Richardson in some of our nicer neighborhoods, 6 months. When you get on a 5-acre tract, it could be a year. Just for a couple reasons. First of all, most of your tracts are out farther, and then subs will put you off to go do 2 houses in the same neighborhood. So, and we know about things like that.
Yeah.
So we may want our footer put in on today. But guess what? He has a footer over here that's got 2 footers in a row. He's going to do those 2 footers instead of driving to Auburn Town for a footer. Same way with block people, same way with framers, same way with... So all those time frames add up to where you need to add 3 to 4 months minimum to a build. Actually, what it needs to be on the, when it said completion, this is what every new construction house ought to have in our contracts. TBD.
You crazy with it, man.
What's
We
that,
can't do
man?
that. Tomato tournament.
There you go, because you
Can't
don't
do
know.
that.
Well, why not? Well, let me ask you this. Can you predict the rain?
No, but what else? What if I just said, "Why am I this I mean, all initial contracts have to have a closing date. So
They have to have a closing date, but you can't guarantee that closing date.
I know.
Even in the contract, it says,
That's
depending
another
upon
reason
the
why it's
weather,
so emotional.
depending on this, depending on this, depending on this, and that's what happens. If it rains for 3 weeks, you can't put a footer in.
I'm dealing with that. For example, we've got a guy. This is out in the Walter Hill, Leanna area, and he's
Out
got
by the river.
Out by the river, he's got to come out there, and it's probably going to be inconvenient for him. I look sweaty, darn Kevin. Is what you're looking
Yeah,
at?
are you
I can
okay?
tell. Yeah, I'm nervous. So if it rains, let's say the amount of rain we've had, it's got to dry for 2 to 3 days out there on this lot. And for him to come out here and dig this, he's probably going to need 1 full day to dig it. Then the next day we can come and pour the concrete. So what we're needing right now is 5 to 6 dry days. What was that with, man?
Roy, hit the dirt.
Did Roy fall? Hey,
Roy
let's
got
watch-
mad.
I'm
You
about
talking
to-
about insurance, he got mad.
Whoa, Roy. So that's just another piece of, don't worry about that, Kathleen. We're about to wrap up because we've been going 33 minutes so far. So Katrina, your lane girls, have you ever had any situations like this with your customers?
I mostly dealt with rock saw issues on a house I used to be in. They charged me $100 a foot
Yep.
for 75 feet and broke off 9 teeth, which I had to pay
Pay
for
for the
in
teeth.
addition to the $100 a foot. It
The-
can be rough trying to get through rock.
Here's the next big thing that everybody worries about the county. Where's the fire hydrant? Where's the closest fire department?
That'd be that pond you dug out back.
Let me give you a good, honest answer. If your house catches on fire 20 miles out,
It's gonna burn.
your house may not be there when you get back. But you know the drawback to that, everybody always says, well, the fire department got to my house, put out the fire. But realistically, how much damage did they charge by putting out the fire? So it's a wash, you know what I mean? So it's now you can put sprinkler systems in and that'll eliminate some stuff. A sprinkler system's about $5,000 for a house of 3,000 square foot magnitude. You know, so if you want something like that, there's different options. But you do have the volunteer fire departments that maintain those. And most of those guys are fantastic. They love it. They're there on call all the time. So kudos to those guys.
So to wrap this up, we've been going about 35 minutes now. It really, if you're wanting to do this, I think you need to know as much as possible about the piece of land that you're buying. So if you look at a piece of land on one side of town and then you're like, well, it's half the money over there versus over here, what determines land prices? I know surrounding comps do, but I think land also has a premium if it's flat. I think there's a discount if it's slopey, if it's rocky, if it's treed.
This is just my opinion. If you have a house that's a buildable lot, I think because of the shortage of that, the area is not as matter as much anymore. What's beside you doesn't matter as much anymore because we're at a very, very short supply of these properties. Where before there's this stigma if you got a house sitting beside a 1,200 square foot house and you're going to build a 350 size house, that stigma's gone now, because if you want land, that kind of comes with it. Where in the past it's like, I don't want to put this big pretty house beside these other houses. Now the neighborhood is not the best idea to do, but if you're on land, you're going to notice, you're going to pass some trailers, you're going to pass some smaller houses, you're going to pass a dairy farm, you're going to pass some goats, but you know what else you're going to do when you sit back at night? You ain't going to hear nothing.
Exactly.
You're going to hear crickets. You're going to be able to go out in the backyard and play with the kids.
You got a donkey.
Lightning bug shows
Like,
are
I mean,
unbelievable.
Go out there and do a fire pit out back.
Yep.
So it just depends on what area of your life and what you're looking for is what it is.
So if you're going to buy a piece of land and you're going to do this, I would definitely highly recommend you get a real estate professional to help you through this process, because there's things you want to know that you probably wouldn't know, because I didn't know a lot of the things that we've been going through. I had no clue, and I've been doing this 14 years now. So I would definitely get somebody that's going to help you through this process, things you don't know, things you haven't thought about, because you might get to a certain point and you're like, it ain't even worth me to build on this. I need to just turn around and sell this. So before we shut this thing down, a lot of people could not get on here, we're hearing, but please share my stream. Help make me famous. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, Tommy Davidson, the same Facebook, Straight from the Gut. I'm going to talk about how my emotions have cost me so many tough times with it, man.
Tough times.
Do I get emotional?
Yep.
What do I get emotional the most about?
You're a baby real estate 101.
Do I get emotional about it?
Good.
So before we shut down, Stevie Z, thank you for joining in. Is there
Camille
anything,
was
Stevie
here.
Z?
Camille was in here. So.
Camille's in here. Stevie Z, would you like to add anything?
I'd like to add that's a very good informational show right there.
Do you mean that with it, man? I mean, Stevie Z?
That would mean 100%. Yeah.
Just because he's got pretty hair, is that why you slipped up there?
Well, it was his eyes. I was looking at his eyes. Katrina, before we shut down, is there anything you can think of we need to tell our audience?
I would 100% echo getting an agent, because we have some really amazing builders in this county, but the builders are concentrating on their projects and that job. They do not have time to educate you every step of the process. So you are more than likely leaving money on the table if you don't have an agent partnering up with you.
All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in every Wednesday, 1 o'clock. Right here, we're going to do Real Estate 101. Thank you so much. Please share this stream. If you share this stream, you're going to go into that drawing. You might win yourself a gift card to the Alley on Main. Thank you. Have a great day.
Oh, that's me.